Now going to transition and pause to looking at these screens in Aeries. We will now look at documenting, progress monitoring, and submitting an SST referral and documenting the actual SST meeting in the Aeries intervention screens. You will start with looking up a student in the top left corner. When you see the student profile, you will click on that, and then you are going to be looking at the specific interventions screens. So scrolling down, you are looking under guidance to interventions. All right, looking at step 1 and 2 in the SST process, we are going to start progress monitoring that teachers will do for 4 to 6 weeks before submitting the SST referral. That will take place in the free referral interventions tab. Clicking on that opens up this window. Teachers will begin by adding a detail. The teacher must add the targeted need that is being supported in the details section first in order to open up these later tabs. So opening up that, the date will be noted and the school, and in the comments section, the teacher will indicate what specific need is being targeted. In this case, for example, low test scores. The current progress status for the first baseline would be that this needs improvement. The teacher could then, in the progress comment, summarize what the teacher is observing with this student and the need. Each school can figure out their data ranges here, maybe on a 0, 25%, 50% scale, or a 1 to 4 scale. But for this first baseline entry, the indicator score is 0, and you will click Save. Anytime a details window is opened up, you will see that observed in the right-hand side in this queue area. Now you can move on to interventions, where the teacher clicks on Add New Intervention Codes. The teacher would put the current date and also the ending date when we are looking about 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks in advance. The teacher can then identify multiple supports and intervention that they are providing. So I am going to, for example, select the opportunity to have instructions written, and I am also going to offer seating near the teacher. The teacher could add a comment in this section, especially if you check other. You could summarize or detail more information there and hit Save. During that 4 to 6 week period, you would then also document any parent meetings and contacts. You would indicate the date that this took place, the type of the meeting, such as a phone call, and you would also indicate the person that you spoke to, along with briefly summarizing the details of that discussion. Then you will click on this little Save icon. Over on that right-hand side, all of this information will now be inputted, but depending on that targeted area of need, the teacher will want to go back in on an ongoing basis over 4 to 6 weeks and update this. In this case, you would go back to details, and each time you're entering a progress comment, you will add a new detail. In this situation, I am going to now pretend that it is about a week later, and my comment is still looking at low test scores. The progress status, hopefully in this case, my interventions are working for the student, and I could indicate making progress, and I could summarize, and maybe there has been a 25% increase, and I am going to hit Save. Moving on to interventions, if I am utilizing additional interventions, I would note that here by noting the date range, and again, the end of that 4 to 6 week progress monitoring period. In this case, I am going to maintain the existing interventions, but also add small group instruction and hit Save. If there was any additional parent communication, you would log that there. A question that has come up is when you are looking at potentially submitting a referral for an SST, it is likely that a student may have more than one area of need. So in that situation, you would add a detail for each specific topic that you are targeting, such as maybe tardies are also a concern. And then you would go through that same ongoing process. Teachers document that for 4 to 6 weeks, and then at that time, it is determined whether or not the SST referral is needed. In that case, you would move on to the second tab on the left-hand side that says Referrals to Interventions, and you would add the record. This will include the overall referral that is to be completed and submitted. You can type in the information necessary, such as the person making the request, the title, such as the classroom teacher, the date that they notified the family that this would be submitted, and you can even indicate if translation services are needed for this meeting and maybe the language that is necessary. In this referral process, you would identify student strengths, and you would identify the reasons for the referral, such as those low test scores, and looking at behaviors, tardies. You would also indicate those prior interventions that were used during the small group instruction. And you would hit save, and that would submit the referral. As the coordinator then has this window that says referrals approval. And Aeries notifies the coordinator by sending an email with the summary of that referral that was submitted. The coordinator would then go in and they would look at the current date and they would approve and deny that request. From there, we are going to move on to utilizing the Interventions tab for documenting the actual meeting. And keep in mind, we have that slide deck with step-by-step screenshot correction. The intervention details is where we would document the specific meeting. So we are going to add a meeting, and we are going to look at the date, as well as the disposition. Under disposition, we are able to indicate that this is an SST meeting. We are going to indicate the date of the SST meeting. We can indicate the time that the meeting took place. We can indicate that it's an academic need, that those translation services were needed. And then under referred by, you can also put what specific teacher or administrator or counselor made the referral and any comments that are needed. By saving that will log the specific meeting. Stakeholders tab is a very important tab where you would add the new record and you would type in each of the individuals in attendance or any of the classroom teachers. One special feature of utilizing the Stakeholders tab is for our school employees, we can link their email account. And by linking their email account, we can search their name and we can select their email. And when we hit save, it will automatically indicate to that person that a student is on their SST intervention caseload. And when you go to the Aeries intervention home screen, you can scroll all the way down to the intervention home screen, and underneath this attendance summary, the teacher will see an updated caseload with any students that are on an intervention. And this can assist with the progress monitoring process that takes place after that meeting. Looking at a specific meeting, there are a couple of other areas where we will utilize data entry. At the SST meeting, the action plan is developed with a number of measurable goals. And so the coordinator would be sure to indicate each goal and provide its description, summarize the measurable goal along with the target date. And when we institute an SST meeting, number one, we then want to monitor that progress over a 6 to 8 week period afterwards. You can also look at that goal and add specific interventions that will be assigned to that goal. So for example, with those low test scores, maybe there is some additional aids that are provided. And that will be indicated. When you look at our direction slides, we show you how to use any of these additional meeting tags. And one question that will come up in closing is how do we print out all of the available records that are from the SST meeting taking place? In order to address that need, you are going to go to the intervention details. And when you look on intervention details, we are actually going to click on plan. If you click print, it'll print, but all the information will be disorganized and it's not going to print that nice PDF report. We want that PDF report, and so we are going to hit plan. And from there, you will see the signal that the PDF is being generated. And when you are ready, you can view that report, you can download it, and you will see an example of all the input that was put in for that SST meeting. One special feature that I want to highlight is, again, this stakeholders aspect. When you go to that stakeholders tab and you link up the classroom teachers and the parents and the counselors, when you enter that information in this printed format of the plan, there will be those nice signature plans that will be available to you. So you can have individuals sign their name and date it, and then this document can be included in the cumulative file. We want to draw your attention back to the available resources to assist your team. Looking at these slides, you will find our step-by-step process, a flow chart,